Ekko, also known as Maya Lopez, is about to make some serious waves in the MCU. Created by Joe Quesada and David Mack, she first showed up in the Marvel scene back in '99 in Daredevil Volume 2, Number 9. Now she's stepping into the spotlight on Disney Plus's Hawkeye series, played by Alaqua Cox. She started as part of Daredevil's crew, became a key figure in his world, and even had a thing with the Man Without Fear himself. Raised by the Kingpin after her dad's death, she's a deaf assassin turned superhero. Come early 2024, Ekko's getting her own show, with Cox back in the role. In Ekko, she's facing her past head-on, trying to evolve beyond her villainous roots. So we thought this was a good time to delve into her anatomy. Oh, and we've already done a video on her history and current status in the Marvel Universe. So without further ado, let's explore this awesome character who can absorb the Phoenix Force.
Sometimes family doesn't see eye to eye.
Who is Ekko? Maya Lopez was born deaf, which meant that she was going to have a fairly rough start. But her boon of lip reading actually became a bane for her, as it became the reason why she was diagnosed much later. Anyway, her dad, Willie Lincoln, also known as Crazy Horse, worked for the Kingpin, who we know is the big-time mob boss. But when Kingpin is involved, you can expect things to go south and terribly violent. He turned on Willie and left him fatally wounded. In his last moments, Willie left a pretty haunting and grim mark on Maya, but we will talk about it in the next entry. Kingpin, oddly feeling responsible, stepped in. He first sent Maya to a school for kids with special needs, but Maya was no ordinary kid. She had this unique talent, like a human camera. She could snap up movements and skills instantly. After she nailed a piano piece just by watching, Kingpin realized she was special. He moved her to a school for gifted youngsters. There, Maya thrived, particularly in art and dance. Life's weird, huh? From a tragic start to discovering incredible abilities and turning them into something powerful. Why does she have a handprint on her face? Maya Lopez has this iconic look in the comics, right? It's a painted handprint on her face. Super symbolic. It's actually a reflection of the deep memory of her dad. When her father was killed, he left this bloody handprint on her, and that stuck with Maya big time. When she's going about in her everyday life, you won't see it. But when she's out there taking out her foes as Ekko, whether as a hero or sometimes on the wrong side of the tracks, that handprint is there, loud and clear. The handprint is basically her personal tribute to her dad, a constant reminder of where she comes from and what drives her. Furthermore, Maya was more than just a superpowered young woman. Since her school days, she had an artistic side too. She writes and stars in her own dance and theater show called Ekko. In it, she reimagines that life-changing moment of her life and turns it into this powerful performance. The handprint is front and center in the show, too. It's her way of keeping her dad's memory alive, a symbol of her roots and her journey. Ekko's unique communication. How does she talk? So Ekko is pretty amazing with languages. She's got this skill where she just needs to see or hear a language once and she's got it down. We're talking reading, writing, speaking, the works. And yeah, she's deaf, but that doesn't slow her down. She's a pro at lip reading and figured out how to speak by watching how others do it. Now, in the comics, Maya's different from her MCU version. Here, she can speak clearly. Of course, we cannot hear her voice in the comics because, well, they're comics. But the comics mostly have her lip reading and responding verbally rather than using sign language. It's a bit of a contrast to the show, where they dive into the real challenges of lip reading. But in the comics, Maya makes it look like a walk in the park. Does she have abilities like Taskmaster? I think it's important that before we answer if Ekko and Taskmaster share similar abilities, we should first explore what Taskmaster's abilities are. Anthony Masters, better known as Taskmaster, has got photographic reflexes. If he sees something once, he can replicate it without breaking a sweat. We're talking complex gymnastics, killer piano solos, you name it. He can mimic fighting styles. Taskmaster watches a few moves from the best fighters and martial artists, and he's got their moves in his arsenal. Of course, it's not just a one-time thing. He keeps those moves in his arsenal for as long as he needs. Taskmaster's also got this uncanny skill to predict what his opponent's going to do next. He's essentially reading your mind in combat. But if you're the type who fights on the fly, all unpredictable like, then Taskmaster might not be able to guess your next move. Oh, and he can mimic people's voices. But he's got to practice a bit to get it just right. Now, of course, all of this does sound familiar. Ekko can do exactly these things, so it's safe to say that she has also got photographic reflexes. But the more important question is, can she beat Taskmaster? Five. Can she beat Taskmaster? On the surface, Taskmaster seems like he's got the upper hand. He's a walking encyclopedia of fighting styles and has been in the superhero one-on-one fighting game way longer. But when it comes to Ekko versus Taskmaster, it's not about who's got more experience. Ekko's got this knack for picking up fighting styles right in the heat of battle. She did it with Daredevil, copying his moves on the fly, which totally caught him off guard. The longer Ekko fights Taskmaster, the more she learns and adapts. Taskmaster's wide array of styles would just be more for her to absorb and use against him. Doesn't matter if she's never seen that martial art before. If Taskmaster uses it, she can mirror it. Furthermore, Ekko is not entirely dependent on her fighting prowess. She's even displayed telepathic abilities, which is bound to come in handy. However, Taskmaster could try to exploit Ekko's deafness, just like Daredevil did once, by putting her in a dark room. But Ekko's been around. She's adapted and probably picked up on other senses to compensate. Plus, being deaf makes her super observant. She once figured out Daredevil's super senses and used them against him. So yeah, Ekko might not have fought Taskmaster yet, but on paper, she's got some serious advantages. I'd sum up by saying that Taskmaster's got his work cut out for him. Does she have what it takes to become the Phoenix? This cosmic power, known for shaking things up in the Marvel Universe, decided it needed a new host. Cue the epic showdown in the White Hot Room, where a bunch of champs, including Ekko, got summoned for a cosmic battle royale. Ekko's first match was Namor, underwater in the Atlantic. Tough break, right? Namor's turf, his rules. He overpowers her and leaves her at the ocean's bottom. But the Phoenix Force, always into the whole rebirth thing, digs Ekko's resilience and her unique way of handling power. So it pulls a major plot twist and resurrects her, choosing her as its new host. Ekko was back with a bang. She was on fire, literally. She crashes back into the tournament and snatches up bits of the Phoenix Force from other fighters. And just like that, she's the full-blown Phoenix. Now, the Phoenix Force is famous for its ties with the X-Men, especially Jean Grey. But lately, it's been eyeing the Avengers crew, like Captain America and Black Panther. Ekko, despite losing to Namor, impresses the Phoenix with her never-say-die attitude. As the new Phoenix host, she even adopts the moniker Thunderbird. Furthermore, she's got some wisdom from Jean Grey on handling those fiery new powers.
You and I are the same.
Has she truly mastered the art of combat? By now, it must have become clear that Ekko is no joke when it comes to fighting. She's got mad skills in hand-to-hand combat and martial arts. She started young at the Brooklyn Karate Academy, then leveled up with some MMA training. Oh, and she's got some moves in capoeira too. Even gave Hawkeye a run for his money with those skills. But that's not all. She can take on multiple tough cookies at once. She went toe-to-toe with Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, and Yelena Belova, all at the same time, and came out on top. Plus, she took down Kazi. Interestingly, she prefers using her elbows in fights. Why? Because she wants to protect her hands for sign language. Smart and practical. Ekko's a master in martial arts, having picked up techniques from all sorts of places. She absorbed styles from martial arts legends like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and Jet Li just by watching them. Hey, is she the first Ronin of Marvel? Maya Lopez is the original Ronin in Marvel the Universe. Yeah, you heard that right. Before Clint Barton rocked the Ronin look in the MCU's Avengers Endgame, it was all Maya. She's the first to take up the Ronin mantle in the comics. After finding out Kingpin had been deceiving her eyes her whole life, Maya needed some soul searching. She heads to Japan, immerses herself in the culture, and becomes Ronin, the masterless samurai. In the comics, Ronin first appeared in New Avengers number 11 back in 2005. This masked vigilante starts shaking things up in Japan's underworld, and everyone's buzzing about who's behind the mask. Marvel played it cool, keeping fans guessing about Ronin's real identity. Turns out, it's Maya. After getting fed up with her assassin gig, she switches things up big time. She goes full ninja warrior mode. We're talking swords, nunchaku, and a brand new name. Post Maya, the Ronin title spin like a hot potato in the Marvel Universe. Clint Barton snagged it in Endgame, but it's also been held by some other heavy hitters like Red Guardian, Blade, and Bullseye. Even in the Ultimate Comics universe, Ronin's an alter ego for Mark Spector, also known as Moon Knight. Maya started a legacy, and it's still going strong. Ekko's death. Is it possible to resurrect Ekko after her death? During Secret Invasion, where Skrulls were hell-bent on taking over Earth, something very curious happens with Maya. She's nabbed by the Hand, led by Elektra. Things get real intense when Elektra pulls quite a bullseye move and takes out Ekko with a sigh right in the stomach. But that's not the end for Maya. The Hand pulls some creepy ancient magic, brings her back to life, and tries to brainwash her into joining their crew. Maya finds herself in a tough spot, but her new Avengers pals roll up to help her out. Once Maya shakes off the mind control, it's payback time. She faces off with Elektra, and in a total turn of events, she defeats the assassin. Elektra turns out to be a Skrull in disguise, flipping the whole Secret Invasion story on its head. What weaknesses challenge Ekko's martial dominance? Ekko's a powerhouse in martial arts, but she's got her limits, just like anyone else. First off, she's human. No superhuman strength or anything. She can mimic moves like nobody's business. But if it's something that needs superhuman juice, she can't copy that. Now, her being deaf, that's a key thing in battles. Sure, she can copy moves perfectly with her photographic reflexes, but not hearing can put her at a disadvantage. If an opponent uses sound-based tricks or sneaky attacks, Ekko might not catch it coming. Anything that requires hearing, like audio signals or distractions, could throw her off her game. It's one of those things she's got to work around in a fight. So yeah, Maya is kind of a big deal in the whole Marvel universe, especially with her ability to absorb the Phoenix Force, which is no easy task. She is not a superhuman, a mutant, or an alien, but she sure knows how to hold her ground. If you've reached this point in the video, I suggest you check out the other anatomy videos on our channel. We do a lot of them. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.